singing, testing the live, seeing what's going on. YouTube is playing around, man. YouTube's playing around, so I gotta test. Gotta see what's going on. Test the stream, live stream. You gotta see, yo. You gotta do these tests for the platforms what you use because sometimes they have something what they put out there like a filter, man. They'll put out a filter just to basically block you or block your viewers. They do that. They do that sometimes, yo. They put out something just to block you. So I gotta test the live stream. See what's up. The live stream on here. You gotta test it, yo. Trust me. They be doing all types of things out there. Just so that you don't get an audience. But people, please subscribe if you're listening. Type of sneaky stuff, man. All type of sneaky stuff they'll be doing. All types of sneaky shit. So, want to see what's going on. How long? Because I know cannabis, they're scared of cannabis, weed, marijuana, any platform we're talking about it, they scared of it. 100%. Any platform that's talking about it, they're scared of it. So I gotta see what's going on, man. What is going on with YouTube? What's up? What's up? It's Myrie Jane podcast. I should put a link up in the chat. Should put a link in the chat. Alright? Bless up anybody who's joining. It's the Myrie Jane podcast right now. Testing the system because you know YouTube is against cannabis. They're against cannabis 100%. YouTube's against it. AKA America, AKA others, right? When you talk about it, they're scared of it, man. They're scared of it, people. Especially if I ask you what's your best bud, what's the best bud you smoke, they don't want me to ask you that, right? I'm right here. I'm right here, people. I'm right here. I'm testing the algorithm. So, just to see how YouTube is with the cannabis culture, because they've been shadow banning the cannabis culture for a good while. If you have a cannabis business, you can't promote it. Which people are trying to promote it, they do put on Instagram. I don't know if it has changed. Something has changed in the last couple months with Donald Trump. Donald Trump has put through certain things, which I guess Instagram has softened certain things, restrictions, because forever Instagram was, and that's a big promotional tool for people, was shadow banning your accounts. They might still be doing it. They shadow ban the biggest people. Burner, if you don't know, Burner is who owns cookies, right? They shadow banned him. They got rid of his account for a while. And he had to start a new one until he had to fight for that account back. Imagine the owner of Cookies, the billionaire, had to fight for his account back because Instagram was against it. So YouTube, they're against stuff too, right? Especially if you're a platform like me and you're showing, if you show this, they're gonna mark your video. If you are into cannabis culture, they'll mark your video with a 18 and up. Well, they should. They should. But you don't want that on your platform. You don't want when somebody goes to your YouTube, it's a restriction. Restriction. You don't want it fully restricted. That screws up the algorithm. That's what's been going on, right? Been going on for a while. So I don't know if they change that whole hoopla or whatever they've been doing for years. Hopefully they change that up, right? Like I said, actually, it's not American who owns YouTube. It's not American who owns YouTube. It's somebody from Asia, if you want to call it. I don't know if he's from Pakistan or India, but it's not an American who owns YouTube. Bet you guys know that, right? So, but you got to go by American rules and regulations. It's not owned by American. A lot of the companies what people are using on social is not owned by American. I'll break it down to you. And those places like Twitter is owned by Elon Musk. He's not really American. It's owned by Elon Musk. You can do anything on Twitter almost, right? Twitch is Twitch owned by American? Maybe. Spotify is not owned by Americans. Spotify is not owned by America. YouTube is not owned by American. What else? TikTok is now, because Donald Trump forced the hand, half owned by America. It's owned by China and Israel. So what's a pure American platform? I don't really know. But they put the rules and regulations. I would say Instagram is. Instagram is. That's why the weed promo, they limit you on there. Bless up what you're saying. What you're saying, Pap, they limit you on Instagram. So I don't know how, like I know people have cannabis businesses on there, but for years before, I don't know how people really got away with doing what they're doing. Because what I used to see when I put up content, when you look up your status, which I'm gonna check soon. If you see like a orange, that means that content cannot be shown to the audience, like international. It's only your people who follow you who could see it, right? So if you're a small content maker, a small business, that hurts you. That hurts you a lot. But if you are somebody who has millions of followers like Snoop Dogg, it's not gonna hurt you. It's not gonna hurt you. You're still gonna get people, all those millions of people or hundreds of thousands of people seeing what you're doing. So I guess Instagram realized that. That's why they're more soft. Like you could post certain things what they would mark down as not acceptable now. Like certain content you can put up. Like if you put up, just say yourself, maybe they might get on you with that. But before like a picture of a spliff, a picture of a plant, and you're right next to it, that would be, oh, they would mark that, right? And your account might be in threat of that. Freestyle? There's no freestyle. What freestyle? People, please subscribe. What freestyle? What freestyle? What freestyle do you want, man? Right now, like I'm saying, I'm testing the algorithm to see how. I haven't been on this channel for a while. I have another channel, you know. I have another platform, very big. This platform I'm trying to grow, the Myrie Jane podcast. So please subscribe if you can. Trying to grow it because there's a lack of cannabis media to inform you. There's a lack of that. If you like cannabis, if you're here for the education, if you're here for the entertainment, whatever, there's a lack of that stuff because, especially America, I would say, because they control a lot of the entertainment, what you see on social media or the internet. They restrict a lot of stuff because they're trying to protect people, as they say, right? Trying to protect people. But cannabis business, if you have one, you probably got hurt from all of this restrictions and censored stuff. They shut down people's pages just because they talk about or promote cannabis because of the laws. Bam. In America. Even if you're not American, as long as you're using American platform like Instagram, right? Uh, they restrict they restrict you from doing certain things, which they should police it. But damn, Like you think a whole bunch of places is illegal in America, it's legalized in certain places that you would think that they would get, well, they're trying to get a little soft on it, but it's still not soft on it. Still not soft on it. Not 100, well, not 100%. Still not. I don't have that problem though. But if you want to promote your cannabis business, I think it's a little bit better now on Instagram. It might be a little bit better. YouTube still strict in certain cases. Doesn't make no sense. I think it's like favoritism. It depends how much followers or subscribers you have. Then you could get away with stuff. Me and my brother would talk about this, and it's probably true. If you have thousands and thousands and thousands of followers or subscribers, you could get away with a lot of stuff, right? You could get away with a lot of stuff. If you don't, they fill you up. Hi, what you saying? What you saying, people? If you're new, please subscribe if you can. I'm all right. I'm doing all right. How are you doing? Where are you from? Where are you from? Where are you at? Where are you at? Where are you coming from? People from all around the world are on YouTube, but YouTube still has to go by the guidelines, American guidelines. Just realize that YouTube is all around the world. Same thing with Instagram. It's all around the world, but you have to go by American law. Check that out. It's not like it's Canadian law or English law or German law. You got to go by American law. So when you're in most of these platforms, it's like you're in America. So if you're on YouTube, it's like you're in America. If you're on TikTok, it's like you're in America. If you're on Instagram, it's like you're in America. You gotta go by the American law system. And if you don't go by their system, they will they will block you, shadow ban you, whatever they do, they will do it. 100%. That's how it's going. Right? So if they don't like what you're doing, they will block you out. They will 100% block you out. I've seen it. Been there, done that. Right? Same thing, it doesn't even have to be just the weed stuff. If you're talking about anything what's not popular, they will block you out. They will attempt to block you out. If you talk about anything what's against the system, maybe they might even talk for a while, but then they'll block you out. It's the same thing they do with the weed, the same thing they do with anything else what is not popular, what you don't think anybody will talk about, like politics, right? If you talk about certain politics on certain platforms, it could get attention. They'll make you do it for a while, and then they'll block you out. They do that. That's part of the stories of being a content maker. Sometimes they'll give you all the free reign. I've heard this before. Who did I hear? I heard something like this before. Some TikToker, they're saying what happened is they'll be hot for a good while, and if they get out of their lane and do anything different, they lose the algorithm. Like they will not. It's like you don't exist anymore. I think it happened to some celebrity. He was explaining. A guy who's a celebrity said he was on TikTok. He used to get millions of views, millions of views, and I guess because he might have said something, or he done something, and he said, "Oh, I don't even get anybody anymore. I don't get anybody. This is like some celebrity." He was talking about TikTok. You would think, and he had millions of followers. And whenever he posts something, doesn't get the views like he was getting before. That's what's happening. You know what I think? And maybe I'm giving out a gem or I'm warning people, right? I think when you grew your platform to a certain level, it's like a plateau. It's like a plateau. They're gonna allow you, certain people, to only get to a certain level. If you talk about things that are too local, like where you're from, too controversial, right? Especially if you include where you're from, they're gonna block you out. They'll block you out. If you, just for example, from Europe, right, and you're talking about UK, UK, like local shit, they'll make you grow. You'll grow. You'll grow. You'll grow. You grow. They're gonna stop you at a certain point because you're talking about local stuff. If you talk about international things, they'll leave you alone if you just talk about that. But once you start talking about where you're from and bringing up politics, they will block your ass out. That's one way they do. They'll make you grow and block you out. Now, for example, the cannabis industry has been controversial for a long time. So I don't know how the algorithm is really working right now because a lot of places have been legalized. Right? In Canada, it's legalized. Washington is legalized. Detroit is legalized. Certain places in America, it's legalized. But for the last couple of years, they've been shadow banning people like me. They've been shadow banning it, man. Whenever you talk something, they put a warning on the YouTube or they put something on your Instagram, social media. They try to block you out. There's one woman I know, and she probably will watch this. Bless up to her, right? Um, she had a big, or she still has a platform, her cannabis platform, right? But she grew a platform with tons of videos, tons of videos. This woman interviewed a lot of people. She put in work to on her platform for years. Just last year, I think, right? I don't know what she put up on her platform, but I had an idea. I was warning people. I don't know what she put up, but they terminated her YouTube account. That's why you can't depend on platform. That's why I'm on Spotify, I'm on Apple Podcasts, I'm on iHeartRadio, I've got a Patreon. You can look up on here on the YouTube. I'm not just one place, I'm everywhere. But her thing was gone. I asked her, would they give you it back? No. Crazy. That's why I said there's real people behind these things. It's not no AI, it's real people. They do watch you. And they eliminated her account. And I was like, damn. That's what gotta be everywhere. They eliminated her account. I was like, whoa, all those videos he done over the years and years and years, and they just do that. What they should do with people is at least give them a chance to download their shit before it's fully terminated. Give them a time. Say they say, okay, in 5 days it's gonna be terminated. You can't post, it can't be seen, but you could. We'll give you a week to download your shit. They done it to me. An old YouTube account, I only put music on. I still fighting to get that back. I'm waiting. It's been days. YouTube, I have an old account, almost 20 years old, and I still can't get that back for what? A song? So censorship is on an all-time high, really high. Censorship is on an all-time high. Like that sucks. That's why you have to create. You can't just have one channel. You have to have backup accounts. It's like YouTube. Instagram. You notice you see people with backup Instagram accounts. You know why they have backup Instagram accounts? Because they know that the history of Instagram, maybe the certain things they post is controversial, and their shit will get knocked out, be taken out. That's why people have more than one account. Same thing with YouTube. You can't have just one. You've got to have a couple, right? Just in case. You never know, right? You never know. That's why you got to be kind of aware. You got to know the rules and regulations. You got to know how to talk. Even certain words, what I'm using, they say it's against certain things, might be against certain things. You got to actually know the language, how to speak on these platforms. There's actually a language, how to speak. You can't even say certain things. What's even worse, besides YouTube, is TikTok. TikTok is the worst platform. TikTok is the worst platform, man. Like, you can't do nothing on that. Like, nothing. You're trying to do something, but damn, no freedom of speech. No freedom of speech. You speak on TikTok, and I'm not saying they don't do it here, but it's more worse on TikTok. When you speak on TikTok, their AI picks up what you're talking about and sends a signal to the people on the platform and the platform what you're speaking about, and you can see the description come up on the screen what you're speaking about, and if it's not popular, you could get a strike, or they might punish you for talking about it. It depends how you speak about it. So TikTok, no, that's why it's for dancing and that clown shit. TikTok. If I was talking the stuff I'm talking now on TikTok, I can't even say shit on TikTok. Maybe some people get away with it. If I was to speak the stuff what I'm saying here on TikTok, that account would be gone. That's why I don't like TikTok. I have a TikTok. I don't really use it. I put that app. As soon as that app's on the phone, I take off, because TikTok is a spy. Like, everything's a spying app, but that one is the most biggest spying platform. TikTok. Even Donald Trump said it was spying on people. TikTok. So you can't, for sure, you can't have a cannabis business on TikTok. That doesn't exist. I don't know, whoever is attempting to promote their cannabis business on TikTok, let me know. They're in a dreamland if you were doing that, because that's the most strictest platform on earth, TikTok. I don't even bother setting up an account on that shit. All right, you can't do a lot of stuff. Like I'm saying, we're living in a age of censorship, big time censorship. Freedom of speech, freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is just yourself talking out in the air, not on your platform, talking amongst you and your people, or outside in the air, maybe. There's no freedom of speech. What's the definition of freedom of speech? You say certain things, they punish you. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Bring the likes. You say certain things, they're gonna punish your ass. They'll punish you. You get what I mean? So there is no freedom of speech. Just look up UK. Just look up the UK. Perfect example of no freedom of speech. In America, coming soon. America coming soon. No freedom of speech down there. They'll lock you up. Put it this way. If America had the system the UK had, a lot of people, more people be locked up. Tons of people be locked up. Hundreds of people be locked up. Let me see, man. I'm gonna move around because they're tricky with the algorithm on YouTube. I learned a couple tricks with this platform. YouTube. It's where you at. It's where you at. What do you think I'm doing right now? What do you think I'm doing right now? It's where you at. Right? When they want to do the shadow banning, they're trying to get your frequency, where you at, when they're doing the shadow banning. That's what they do. Right? They try to find where you at, man. They got their shadow ban police system. Right? Shadow ban police. It's the Myrie Jane podcast. It's a little bit better down here. But how it works, right? On these platforms, I'm telling you, people think it's paranoia. Your IP address, right? Your IP address, if they want to, They could target it, filter it, and know who's coming out and how to knock you out on it. They'll do that shit. Trust me. And then again, it's summertime still, right? So everybody, a lot of people are supposed to be out. It's summertime, but when winter time comes, it's a little bit different. You have a bigger population online when it's cold. If you live in a region like the East Coast or somewhere where you get snow and shit like that, the algorithm's a little bit different, right? Right now, I'm turning on the algorithm, turning on algorithm right now because I used this platform, excuse me, in a while. Haven't used it in a while, people. Let's see. Let me see if I can play with it. What you saying, people? What do you guys think about all the censorship, especially with cannabis? What do you guys think about the censorship with cannabis, especially if there's a business? If you have a business, you could just be selling T-shirts. Just T-shirts. You don't even have to be selling nothing like flour. Just T-shirts. And they were banned from Instagram. Now, people have to use different platforms to sell their products, right? Especially in the cannabis community. For a long time, they're still using certain platforms to try to sell instead of like the YouTube or what would you say, Instagram. You have to have millions of followers so it doesn't bother you. But if you don't have millions or hundreds of thousands of followers, good luck. Good luck. To me, this is what I see. If you have the millions of followers or hundreds of thousands of followers, you could get away with anything. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Bring up the likes, subscribe if you can. And on top of it, like I'm talking about platforms, there's spies, right? There's people who watch platform. They won't say nothing. That's why I know when they're around. They'll just watch, they won't say nothing because they're spying on you. Yeah, right? And it's even worse when you start to grow, like on these platforms like YouTube, and you get in a big audience because there's more spies that are watching you and reporting and all types of fuckery they're doing. See, they could be watching right now as I'm speaking. They could be watching right now because I have other channels. So they're probably wondering, where's this guy? Where's this guy? Because I do a lot of political commentary, especially about Donald Trump, which is not popular. I do a lot of political commentary, and I seen it for myself. I seen the system for myself, right? And what they do when you talk against the system. It's nasty work, man. Nasty work. So right now I'm talking about the cannabis community and stuff like that, which I don't really respect to the can. I guess it's separated, but I don't like a lot of the cannabis community because a lot of the cannabis community is hypocrite. What they call the cannabis community. A lot of the cannabis community they don't like certain people, even though they're benefited off certain communities, right? The so-called cannabis community, what they call the cannabis community. A lot of them are good people. I tell you that right now, right? So that's the real deal. What you see, people, it's Friday, and you know, I'm testing out live, the live stream. Testing out the live stream, man. You gotta test it because, like I said, I'm a cannabis platform right here. When you come here, you can ask me any questions. It's not those dumb ones. I won't answer those. But if you answer something but sensible, I will respond. If you send something out, I'm not the answer. I'll answer it. Send a question out, I'll answer it. It just has to be sensible, man. It has to be sensible. Stuff like that. Right now, whoever's tapping in, you're probably new to the platform. Most of you new to the platform, saying going in and out. But to grow your platform, you've got to be on. You gotta be on live, and that's why I'm live right now. I was on Kick earlier, but now I'm straight YouTube. You gotta test the system because they'll be making things crash. All types of stuff they'll be doing out here. Now there's actually what's going on with YouTube, and I'm talking to YouTube news with the whole thing censorship. I think because there's more big, they always had a big audience, but because there's a bigger percentage of creators coming out, creators, there's a bigger percentage, even small creators are getting more attention. So they gotta spread the wealth, if you call it. They gotta spread it out. With the big content makers and the small content makers, they gotta spread it out, right? And it depends the times you come on. I'm not giving out all the gems, but that's a big factor, right? It's a big factor in a lot of stuff, right? So yeah, tap in, subscribe, and more subscribers don't mean as much, but it does when it's new people. Some people got hyped with the algorithm that made them get a lot of subscribers. It's not genuine people who really like the content. It's just the excitement, and those people never come back to watch, right? So, like I'm saying, it's how you promote yourself. It's how much work you put in. You gotta be consistent. You gotta be consistent. That's the key to the thing. Good or bad, you just gotta do it. That's the key. You just gotta do it. If you don't do it, you'll never know, right? So that's what I'm doing right now because, like I said, this YouTube account, I've been making it sleep for a while. I've been making it sleep for a while. So you guys haven't been seeing me. Anybody who knows me on here hasn't seen me on live on this for consistently the last 2 years. Oh yeah, for the last 2 years. So I'm waking you guys up. People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. Right? It's the Myrie Jane podcast. Right? So what you're saying. What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Like I said, there's a spies. You gotta be wise because there's a lot of spies out there, and they don't want to see some people grow. Trust me, they don't want to see some people grow because if you grow and you get success, it's like lottery. It's like lottery, man. It's like, for example, now I tell you on my other platform, which is good. Now I'm gonna tell you now. For example, say I got 60 to 80 people in here watching, steady. You can go from 80 to 60, but it's steady. That's success. If you understand, if it's like 60, 50, even 40 steady viewers watching for an hour, that's success. Because when you're finished, you're gonna get a good number. It depends how long you're on. That's the key. That's the key to the game. That's just the key for streaming. Live streaming. When you're live streaming, it's your audience. The more you have an audience partake, more better it is for you, right? Let's see what else we get in here. The more better it is for you, man. The more better it is for you. Been a couple episodes recently, right? A couple episodes I talked about Whisper. Man, I gotta give him it. Man, he's not buying in to going to Europe. He's not trying to turn himself in. Who, right? He's not trying to go to prison. Yeah, that's how yeah, Wiz Khalifa's not trying to go to prison, but he's trying to go back to independent. Damn, that's how the people think. That's how the people think. Right? That's how the people think. That's how the people think. Right? 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 Can you look now? Damn. You see, this is YouTube. I'm trying to show you guys something. Damn. Damn. You see that? You see that? Ah, you're good, man. You see that? I was off for a while. What were you guys seeing when I was off? That's something interesting. That's interesting. I'm gonna check that out to see how what was going on then. I'm gonna check that out definitely to see what was going on. Some funny business is going on right now. YouTube. What was going on for the last 2 minutes? Because I was talking on the phone. What was going on for the last 2 minutes? Makes me wonder. Right? Like I said, how long has it been? Over a half an hour, right? Over and half an hour I've been on. Testing the system, and like I said, I know how to deal with the system on YouTube. Basically, every time you go on, every time you're watching something on YouTube, they collect the information. So I'm not gonna give out the gems what you have to do, but I know what you're supposed to do, right? To clean that up. I won't give out those gems. I'll make people figure out that themselves, right? So, like I'm saying, unpopular opinion, they block. Um, Cannabis community, they block. Um, a lot of shit they block. And the powers that be are watching if you are a threat. They want to hear what you're talking about. If you're talking about some celebrity shit, but doesn't matter, you might get a good algorithm if you talk about that. I could test that. Just put up a thumbnail of a famous person and you'll see 100%. All you have to do is put up a thumbnail of somebody who's famous, some story what is viral, and you see them all come in. I know, right? But with the weed game, you have got to be interested in it. You got to want to know and be educated in it with the cannabis community, right? So, like I'm saying, I haven't been on here for a while, but I know how to play the game 100%, right? People, please subscribe, like, comment, all that good stuff. I got to check out the stream.